is Jovanka, and I'm here with Tino Bananiac. Is that
Hey
it?
guys,
Hi, Tino. Should I call you Tino or should I call you Bananiac?
whatever pleases you.
I'm
Either
gonna
way.
call you Bananiac because that's the name of your channel, and that's how I found out about you. And as soon as I did, I was like, "Who is this dude? I need to be friends with him. What's the story?"
Definitely.
So that's why I contacted you. So thank you so much for being here. I wanted to get your story and get a little bit of, just talk a little bit about this whole thing that we call veganism. Why is it so awesome?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, by the way. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super stoked to talk about this.
Cool. So tell me, how long have you been a vegan? How did this whole thing come about for you?
Yeah, so I've been vegan since April 2012. So what is the math? Maybe 2.5 years or
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So basically what brought me to this state of eating just plants was uh, it was motivation of just wanting to eat healthier and to
Yeah.
wanting to be more healthy because I would get sick a lot. In my sports I wasn't as efficient as I wanted to be.
Mm.
So I wanted to lose a little bit of weight here and there. So yeah, it was a lot of motivation, but it was basically health. So I watched this documentary called Forks Over Knives, and it talked about a whole food plant-based diet, and it made so much sense. Not because it's good for weight loss and it's good for getting you healthier and all that, but it can reverse diseases like
Mm.
that. For some reason, that stuck with me because not only helps keep lives, but also helps save them as well. And I thought that was crazy. Heart disease is our number one killer, and just
Yeah.
by eating fruits and vegetables, we can completely erase it. So like I was so blown away by that. So I wanted to do this program because I knew this was the way to eat. And the more I got into eating whole plant foods, the more I started to realize other, side issues like the animals and the environment and all that, the impact that diet has on them. So I just couldn't turn away from those reasons, and it's the reason why I eat 100% plant based, or I would call it a vegan diet,
Right.
is because I care for the animals, I care for the environment, and, the impact my diet has on it. So, I've never looked back. This is the greatest decision I've ever made.
Good, good. It's so funny how you say that you call it a vegan diet, and I think people have a reason why they call it one thing or another. I tend to call it plant based because I'm a nutrition educator, and so I talk to a lot of people all the time, and most of
Right,
my students and clients are not vegan, and that
right,
word kind of turns people off, and it's a little scary. But then once you start talking about it, you realize that really everybody needs to be eating a plant-based diet. Even if
yeah.
you choose to eat animal flesh, the vast majority of what needs to go in needs to come from plants, truly. And it's very hard for people to argue against that.
Right. Yeah, if we're speaking strictly on a health basis, like you have to at least make 90% of your diet
Right.
plant-based. There's no arguing about that. Fruits and vegetables are the healthiest thing to eat in the world, and meat will never top that, or
Right.
dairy will never top that. So,
That's
yeah, I
right.
agree with you.
Cool. And I know you're an athlete. You mentioned that at the beginning of the of your last question. You're a cyclist, right?
I try to be, yes.
So, and that's also a very important distinction because you know how like a lot of athletes or a lot of guys especially, like they want to be tough and they want to build muscles and they think that they can't do it unless they eat tons and tons of protein. And you look great, you look healthy and strong, and I think I saw another video of yours a couple of weeks ago where you were running in the misery, humidity, or riding right in the misery of, I think it was the Caribbean somewhere. And as a Caribbean girl, I can tell you how miserable that is. So that takes endurance, that takes strength, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually Florida, and I mean
Oh,
it's pretty much right there. It's
yeah,
very close,
same
and
thing.
it was so humid. Yeah, we did an event called the Festive 500, where it's basically riding 500 kilometers in around 7 to 8 days. It was between Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, and I'd never done that many miles before. It was definitely a new experience for me. So it was awesome, and I credited it all to my plant-based diet, eating lots of carbohydrates and lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, that
Yeah.
type of thing, to give me energy and the right nutrition that I need to do that, because it's very hard to do it on a standard American diet where you're eating a lot of junk food and
It's
a
not.
lot of high fat foods. Yeah, it's tough. So
It's not.
yeah, it's definitely helped me as a cyclist for sure. I've lost a bit of weight, but again, like the energy that I get from the food it can't match from what I was eating before.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely been a fun experience.
Cool. So before you said that you are Greek, right?
Right.
So you grew up like most of us with, meat and I don't know, chicken, lamb, whatever.
Sure.
Um, so, well, I guess this is a two-part question. First of all, because I know the Mediterraneans are just very passionate people
Yeah.
and they believe strongly in what they believe in. So, how hard was it to deal with parents and family when you told them like, I won't be having any more of whatever?
Right. Yeah. At first, it was tough because I was doing something completely different from what my family
Right.
was doing and all the traditions, that the Greek culture holds. So, yeah, I was going against my culture basically in a way because food is such a big part of,
It is.
most cultures. So, um, yeah, I mean, like, I came from a family where we would eat a ton of gyros, which is basically lamb meat and, other roasts
Beanies
and all
up.
that stuff.
Yep.
But, it's funny because the more I got into it, the more I found out that this is backed up by science and that doctors are promoting it and studies are showing that the health benefits of a plant-based diet, showed this to my family and they were very open to that part. Because to be honest, when I first had heard about the vegan lifestyle, I always thought it was just about the animals, something that you would sacrifice for the
Oh,
animals, not
right.
something that, you can benefit from as well.
Hmm.
So once I found out that it's a healthy thing to do, I showed my family, and they wanted to get healthier as well. My brother became 100% vegan. My parents are more towards the plant-based, type thing. So it's been awesome and it's been gratifying to change, my family's life as well as other
Oh, that's
people.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great point. Um, so I guess the second part of that question is, as you were transitioning to veganism, did you have anything that you just kept trying, like just your go-to food that you would go to
Mm,
as comfort? Just like I don't know, just like for some people it may be a hamburger. Would you don't have the hamburger any longer? What was
right.
that go-to food that you would go to as you were transitioning?
Definitely bananas. Absolutely. I would say bananas. I would buy boxes and boxes of bananas, like the 40 pound that
Yeah.
they would bring into the stores, and I still buy those. And I would just make lots of smoothies and eat them on the go if I'm commuting to school or if I'm walking to class or something.
Right.
It's so easy because a banana has like its own like little wrapper type of thing, and it's
Right.
not messy, so it's perfect. And it's great on the bike. The banana was just perfect thing for me. So I would eat a ton of bananas, and that's kind of where Bananiac came from,
Yeah.
is because bananas had helped me so much for my journey. So
Yeah. I
definitely
love bananas
bananas.
too. I have people all the time telling me I can't eat bananas because they're too high in sugar. I'm like, what? People,
Yeah,
sit
come
down. Let's talk about this. Come on.
and then they're drinking like Coca-Cola and all that.
And
Yeah,
coffee from Starbucks, which has
right,
one drink. May I don't drink coffee or Starbucks for that matter, but I've heard that some
right.
of them have like 1,500 calories or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
even
that's
want.
crazy, and
It's
it's
just
not even like good calories.
no.
So yeah,
It's totally
crazy.
crap. So I have one last question. Tell me what would be, or what do you believe is the number one mistake that people make when
Hmm.
they are trying to stick to veganism? You and I just talked about this right before we got on the video, that a lot of people are like you. They feel like at the beginning you don't really know what it all means, so you think it's maybe good for you, but you may be doing it more for the animals and the environment, or for some reason you don't stick with it. And it seems to be a trend where a lot of vegetarians and vegans are moving away from it. And I think it's because there's something that there may be something where there is a stumbling block, and they get stuck and they go like, well, let's go back to what we know. So,
Hmm.
in your opinion, what is that one mistake that people make?
Well, I think whatever reason you're coming to a vegan diet or say a plant-based diet, whether it's, for your health or, you're doing it for the animals or the environment, I highly, highly recommend getting yourself educated on the other factors as well. Making this a holistic
Right.
approach, making this a lifestyle for yourself. That way you are more likely to do this. I mean, this is such a good thing to do. Eating healthy, eating lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and those types of foods, those are what are going to keep you healthy for the long term. You're going to be able to do the things you want to do and
Yeah.
be around the people you love the most, and that will help you advocate for the animals, that will help you advocate for the environment. It's a holistic approach, and it just fits like a perfect puzzle. So
Right.
just getting yourself educated is the number one thing. And if I see so many people making mistakes such as eating um, say a high fat diet because they're afraid
Right.
of carbohydrates. Like you said, like people avoiding bananas because of the sugar thing.
Right.
But if you educate yourself and you find out that banana is just this perfect package of all kinds of nutrients, it's
Right.
got more than just sugar. There's of course sugar in there. It's good for you. It's going to give you energy, but there's a ton of other stuff in there. So there's the micronutrients that are going to keep you healthy.
Right.
So getting yourself educated, and there's 3 documentaries out there that I highly recommend anyone checking out if they're interested in the plant-based diet, the vegan lifestyle, is to check out Forks Over Knives. That
Right.
will give you a lot of great insight of the science behind the plant-based approach, eating lots of whole plant foods,
Right.
keeping you healthy for life. The second one is called Earthlings, and it shows what people are doing to the animals, and how the diet is directly impacting the animals. Very powerful documentary. And the third one is Cowspiracy. Talks about the impacts of diet on the environment, and who doesn't care about this planet? It's the only one we have. It's our only
Right.
home. Let's
Exactly.
let's keep it clean and
Yeah.
let's share it, because we're all here together. So watch Cowspiracy. Great facts in that documentary. So number one mistake, I would say, people aren't getting themselves educated, and it's not their fault. And that's why
Right.
we have to speak up about it, because we
Right.
hold this knowledge, we have to share it around. So
Fabulous. I couldn't
yeah.
agree with you more. And I will put the links to all 3 of these documentaries. I actually saw Earthlings, I want to say 2 years ago or so, and it was
Yeah.
heartbreaking. But it was heartbreaking because you start recognizing that there's a matter of personal responsibility with every single one of your meals. Every choice that you make affect thousands upon hundreds of thousands of other souls out there, animals and others, other humans. And same thing with Cowspiracy. I just saw it a couple of months ago, and it was so powerful.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
for that tip. I'm gonna put that link below, and I will make sure that I will put a link to your channel because people need to see you and get to know you and get to love
Awesome.
you. And yeah, so if you have one more comment and one more like loving, thing to leave us with, this is your chance.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for this interview. Just like I said, get yourself educated, eat lots of whole, healthy plant foods. You're never going to regret eating healthy. No one ever does regret eating healthy. Eat
Exactly.
lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. Eat as much as you want from them. They are the healthy foods. And, get yourself educated on other aspects as well. Which, how diet plays an impact on the animals, the environment, and you're gonna love this. And next thing you know, you're on the other side of the screen advocating this
Yeah.
lifestyle.
And
So
you're gonna look just as fabulous as both Bananiac and I do. So it's really a
exactly.
win-win. Thanks again for this. And do make sure that if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment below. And I'll make sure to either pass them on to Bananiac or answer them if I can myself. And go ahead and subscribe for more tips and a jolt of motivation for your sexy, healthy, and beautiful life.